And hey,
Uh-huh.
yo, welcome to another episode of the Culture Podcast. Um, I'm sitting here with the repeat offender, but just because he's a repeat offender doesn't mean I'm gonna introduce him. You know the rules at the Culture Podcast, dog. You know we don't introduce you, you introduce yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, even though this is part two of an
Yes.
already ongoing conversation,
Yes.
for those who are just jumping onto the train right now, please let's give them a breakdown of who you are real quick.
Shut up, fam. Who I am is, like you said, Met A Morphosis, sort of like a different emphasis. You could sort of speak of it as a caterpillar, treading soft in waters of fear, consuming itself only to eat its own frequency to give the birth of its wings. Hence the name, Metamorphosis. But I'm a very versatile man and polymath. I'm an artist, writer, scientist, and educator. And yeah, living the life of my dreams is my best manifestation. And I try to spread positivity in action and execution everywhere I go. Yeah, that's me.
Damn, okay. Comprehensive intro. I like that. I like that.
Shout out, shout out.
Okay, wait. I just want to ask, Stan, can you just turn it down a bit, please? All right. So, since the first time you were at the Culture Podcast,
Yeah.
we've since, you know, added a few things to make the podcast a little bit more interesting.
Yes, yes.
For example, we've got the visual dynamic. I can't believe we
Most
had
def.
you on here before we had the visual dynamic going on, which is it's cool that you've been a part of our journey. It's not even is it only your second time on the podcast?
I think third, actually. Yeah,
Yeah, it
third.
must be because you've. I mean, I know you for a long time.
Yeah,
Definitely,
true, true.
you've been here a number of times. Right. So another thing that we like to do
Uh-huh.
is an icebreaker. You know what I'm saying?
All
So
right.
I got a few cards here which present scenarios to you. And all you got to do is tell me what you're going to do in the situation.
Okay.
All right? So you pick a card, I'm going to read it to you, and you tell me what you do. All right, cool. After looking for work for 6 months, you get a good offer from a cigarette manufacturer, and you're an ardent anti smoker. Do you accept it?
I would say if I'm looking for work for 6 months and I don't have a job and I get an offer from a tobacco manufacturer,
Yeah.
yes, it might go against my values and principles, but I would still accept the job. While using that money, I'd look for another job that's more suited to what I want to become. So sometimes you have to bleed and acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the nonsensical, whatever we have to do for the sake of covering ourselves, cover the basics, but plan for a better move going forward. I do it like that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that. Another ice breaking. You see a policeman in difficulty trying to arrest an unarmed man. Do you go to the policeman's aid?
You said, I see a policeman
In difficulty trying
struggling
to
to
arrest a
struggling to
man.
arrest him. So basically, a cop struggling to arrest someone. What do I do?
Do you
I
help
would
the cop?
actually depend. The thing is, I don't know the context of the situation why the guy's trying to be arrested. Is it lawful or unlawful arrest? But nonetheless, I would maybe call for backup, but would not really get physically involved at all. Because at the end of the day, it's not really my business. I don't know what the plot is, and I put myself at risk when you can call other law enforcement to do that properly. I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. No, shout out. I like that. I like that. The next one is a custom tailor-made ice-breaking scenario for you.
All right.
So I'm gonna get into storytelling mode real quick.
Okay.
You meet the love of your life, right? And you guys are doing it, but her family hates you, right? They hate you so much. Maybe because they got someone else planned for her, right? But then one day you get a call from her mother or her father or her uncle, let's say it's an uncle, they're using a formal channel, and they offer you R1 million to leave their daughter alone, what do you do?
Damn, that's quite a tough situation. I want to be upfront about it. That's quite a trippy one. I think I'd have to first ask myself a series of questions before I make the decision. The first one is, why do I say I love this woman? And I hope the answer is not only because she looks good. It should be that she has values and principles that align to the vision and future that I seek. And if I know that we're both all about that grind and are both committed to each other through loyalty, trust, and friendship, and know the future that we seek, then I would easily prioritize her because I know that I could build a beautiful life with a person like that.
And get the million.
But hold on. But if a relationship is toxic and we're not really aligning at all, and you're just with the person because you're with the person, and the uncle offers you $1 million and the family hates you, in the situation where breakup is inevitable, we can see that like you just cannot make this relationship work. Only then would I take the $1 million. But if the relationship was good, I wouldn't take the money. Yeah,
Okay, all right.
that's the honest answer.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. That's an honest answer. I'm not gonna judge. This is a culture platform. Even if you just said hell yeah, I'll take the money. It's also it's also fine, you know. But it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Metamorphosis.
Yes.
It's hard to remember where we picked up, where we left off the last time we spoke, but we can pick up with you and what you've been up to, what you've been doing since the last time we spoke. You know what I'm saying? So, well, what's been going on?
So much has been going on. It's been quite amazing actually. I feel so divinely blessed. The first great blessing is that I graduated twice last year.
Damn.
So I finished my honors in science, majoring in physics and chemistry, and by the grace of God, managed back-to-back distinctions for physics and chemistry in both semesters, B average for research, an overall course average of 70%.
Damn.
And then around May, there came opportunity to do a diploma in quantum computing and programming. And at the time, I was kind of like, look, you have a crazy workload. You teach 180 students Monday to Friday, another 120 to 150 on Saturdays, extra classes Tuesday, Wednesday, coach public speaking on Thursdays. You've judged nationals twice for public speaking, where over 500 plus schools enter and over 1,000 learners are involved. But in essence, what I'm trying to say is, through carrying all that heavy workload and finally completing 2 qualifications against the odds, I'm blessed that I have distinctions for physics and 3 qualifications, and new music is coming out. Mixtape is 10 tracks recorded already. Second album, 7 tracks, probably EP instead. But yeah, new music's coming this year. I'm excited. The world is vibrant. I'm on a beautiful hot streak, and I'm grateful to God.
So, a question just came to my mind, you know, and I want to know from you, right? Do you feel that you yourself, with everything that you are and you do and you contribute to society, to the culture, and to academia, what do you think about leaving the country? Do you think this country is maybe the right place for you to be in terms of like everything that you do? I'm not saying that your skills aren't needed in the country. I'm actually talking about your rewarding for your skills in the country
I feel you.
and everything that you contribute. You know?
I think when it comes to that, I'd have to give the honest answer and say it depends on what someone's key objective is in terms of what's their dream, what's their target. Now, I have 4 careers. I am an artist, a writer, a scientist, and educator. I love all 4 careers, but in the same breath, I think we all have to evolve as people. And once you feel like you understand an environment well enough, maybe try something new. So I definitely am an individual that's open to work international. I actually plan on going on tour internationally and overseas, and doing that while studying as well. And just, yeah, seeing what the world takes me. But ideal situation would be postgrad studies overseas while going on festivals on a music tour at the same time, and just have that as like a dominant job. Because my target in the beginning was teach 2,000 students. I've now taught 1,500 students in 6 years. By the end of this year, we'll have taught 1,800 students.
So your teaching career has spanned 6 years thus far.
Yeah, this year's my 7th year.
That's crazy. Are you aiming to be the headmaster?
I think I'm aiming to impact as many lives as I can through positivity and action. Show them that limits are
But
set by
I
people.
think you make a cool headmaster.
I think I'd make a cool chancellor of a university. I think I'm looking there. Yeah. So soon, 10
like
to 20,
it.
I'll be running that
I
game.
like it. But I mean, what I mean is like I can also picture you as a headmaster. Like,
Oh, no, I could definitely kill that job quite well.
Like
I'd be
very
an excellent head
literally,
principal.
like your punishment in detention will be making niggas write fucking raps. You get what I'm
That'd be
saying?
interesting.
No bubblegum bullshit bars.
But at the same time, you'd actually have like a mock correction of like where is the adequacy points in your places. But yeah, it'd be that type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool, bro. That's interesting. So you think you'd make a good chancellor of a university,
Definitely.
but not yet though.
I'm looking at it in 10 to 20 years. Yeah.
Okay.
10 to 20, yeah.
So what career moves do you have planned between now, your 7th year
Yeah.
in
Teaching?
teaching, and that peak where you're now operating as a chancellor for a university? What other
think,
milestones along the way
Oh, thank you.
do
Thank
you
you.
foresee?
You're asking such an important question. Look, as I love my own evolution, I'm looking at publishing a series of my own books as well, where I'm the sole author. I am already publishing 3 different poetry
textbooks.
anthologies. Textbooks and course material. I'm also looking at designing that type of stuff as well.
Curriculums.
I actually do have a curriculum that I designed also. That's amazing because I'm looking at. I'm serious because the school I wanted to create is called Millennium Academy, where I give you 1,000 years of knowledge in 12 years. And it's an accelerated program, but at the same time, students go at their own pace. So if you need a week on this topic, you're allowed to do that. If you need 2 days, you can also do that, and then go to the next topic. So you're not forced to move at the pace of everybody else. You can take your time, speed up as you wish.
That sounds
Now, the
interesting.
key thing with that is it'll also be set with other skills that could be used like practically. Things like, electrical stuff, computers, hardware, software, that type of stuff. So that you get like a full education before you leave school. So when you leave school, you have enough tools where you could make money without even getting a degree.
Yeah.
You know how to like build a computer or set up a motherboard, or you know how to build a website or run a data operation systems or database. So giving kids the tools so that they're less stressed out when they finish high school. Because at the moment, without a diploma, NF certificate, degree, or whatever, it's tough to get a good job. It's not easy.
Yeah.
If we're all
That's
honest
true.
about it, matric is not enough. We need more. So here's the perspective. What if we made matric enough? What if matric gave you enough skills that you can actually work after matric, and then choose to properly have a strong vocation after figure out what you want?
In that scenario, what would one do after matric then?
They would have a clear directive of what they want to do and pursue. They'd spend a year of mentorship under that person, shadow work, or not even a year, 3 to 6 months, just to see whether they like that job or not. And then once they're then done with that, they can either study it or do something else. That way you know what you're getting into. Because too many times jobs are glamorized and people fall in the hype of that. But when they actually do the job, they're like, this is not fun. But you have a degree in it, and you got a job, and you can't just change quickly. So I think people need more time to be practically sure of what it is they're looking for in the things they seek. I think that's needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So like, what about the music? Like, how does the
Oh.
music tie in?
Oh, most definitely. You're not even done with that. So I'm gonna keep creating things, and with music-wise, like I said, second album coming soon, mixtape coming soon. But I'm gonna keep making music.
Is it only your second album?
Not
Now.
second album, yes, second album. But I'm also recording my first
How many
mixtape as well.
projects do you have in total?
I have one
that you
project
put
that's
out?
already out, 2 that are still being recorded, but will soon be released.
Well, is there a reason for that? That you only have one project so far out?
Out. The reason is I take my time in creating my work. I like it to have a story like me when I'm living. So I don't write in a mechanical process like I'm just trying to like factory shelf a song. I want it to have feel, I want it to have experience behind it, I want it to have its own story, I want it to have its own creation origins. I want the beat to be designed according to what I'm thinking about the concept of the track before I even write it. And when all those elements align, I then write the track, record it, and it's ready. But the thing with me is I expect mastery from myself in everything that I try to do. So it's not about you just making music. Me, it's like it better be the best track I could possibly make. Now, when that's the mentality, even my first album is still to this day opening doors I didn't foresee when I first created it. Because it's that high level of quality work, properly mastered, engineered, brilliant writing and music, etc. But my new wave is
Wormhole
crazier.
of consciousness.
Most definitely. Wormhole of Consciousness, currently available at Wits libraries across Wits
Oh, shit,
University.
that's another flex, huh? Tell
Yeah,
us
absolutely.
about that. I don't know. Are you the first rapper with their album archived in the Vits library?
To be honest with that, I'm entirely not sure at all. All I do know is I spoke to one of the heads of science department, and he agreed to then help me have my album put in the Wits Library archives. So it'll be at the Education Campus Library, probably the Humanities and Walton Wheeler Library as well. But I'm quite excited about it. It's a huge milestone for me. And I joked once with one of my students that, look,
What are the royalties like from the Vits archive? How
um,
does that work?
look,
Is it
with
a thing?
that, I'm not really looking at it from that perspective. I'm looking at it as accessibility of art in academic spaces. So for me, it's not even about
But
royalties, anything like
is
that.
there
But
that
they
though?
may be, but it just depends on how you negotiate it.
Okay,
So I can't
okay,
speak
okay.
to that directly.
But
what I can
it's
say
not
is
like
my
you're
purpose
doing it
is
because you're looking
no,
for a
no,
bag.
no.
It's just
But I'll still get gigs through having the music there, anyways.
it's just bragging rights at this point.
Not really just that. They're obviously gonna invite me for shows and stuff. So
Okay,
it's a good
okay.
foot in the
Yeah,
door in
yeah,
a great
yeah.
way that also marks
it's
a
a different
historical
type of
milestone for me.
exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, no,
I mean,
that's cool.
having your art in an academic institution that's as famous as WITS, currently ranked 320 in the world. And let me give you a different perspective. People hear 320 and think the following. Sure, that's a large number, but do you know how many universities are in the world? There's over 17,000 universities in the world. That means for you to be top 10%, you're positioned 1,700. Top 10%. Half of that is 850. That's top 5%. So if you're 320 out of 850, which is 5%, it therefore then means you're ranked in the top 3% globally. Now, if I have distinctions in both semesters for physics and chemistry, an institution like that, and that same institution can bless me and validate me as well in a way by having my album in that space. It's sort of like he's alumni, he's got distinctions here, he's graduated twice here, and his art is also here.
And you've also got some records in there.
Exactly. So, and I broke a record at the
Yeah,
university
yeah,
as well.
yeah. That's what I'm referring to.
Shout
yeah.
out, shout out. Glad you remember that. That was heavy.
No, you cracked
So-
me up when you told me. I'm like, this
You know what I
nigga,
mean?
who the fuck is this guy?
Now, I'm at just a different level of mastery of self and accepting
uh.
God, divinity, and natural within your being.
Yeah.
So I put it this way: the record I broke, which he's mentioning, is I'm the first person in the history of WITS to successfully complete first and second year simultaneously while doing fourth year physics and chemistry, where I was youngest in my class for physics and chem, but I also got an A for fourth year physics as a second year. And that's the record that I set. Basically finished half a degree in 1 year. Yeah, 2011 when I did it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Magic is possible. Skip a year of college.
That's-
What? Don't just skip high school.
Okay.
Excuse the pun. Don't just skip high school. Attend high school, please.
I also want to ask you though, like, what are you? What are you like currently working on right now?
Oh,
You
amazing.
you mentioned that you've been on a run
Yes, I have.
of late.
Yes.
What are you doing?
All right.
Like musically.
Yeah. In terms of like the run, recording your music, definitely. Cooking new stuff, making different projects. There's a third project I'm working on the low. I'll give a sneak peek about it. You may have seen it at Yams. I'm doing a collab with Tide Me Over, making some crazy music that's
Shout out to
dubstep.
Tide Me Over.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Tide
yeah,
Me Over,
yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely.
One of
Release-
the most unique artists you're ever gonna interact with.
True, definitely, and I love the work we create together. But essentially, it's sort of like the idea behind dubstep, electro, house, bass, but spitting abstract conscious rap. And when you get a bass player and a vocalist involved, there's really crazy sound and a percussionist. So yeah, we're cooking magic. So that's the third
crazy.
project I'm working on. So when I'm ready, that'll also be out soon.
When is that likely to come out?
Probably next year. Yeah.
Okay. So like
But this year, definitely new music is coming.
one thing we've never really spoken about is music business.
Yes.
Yeah. What are your views on on like the music business. Like how do you handle your music business? Like do you
Uh,
believe in streaming as a income, or what would you identify if Metamorphosis is a business and a brand? Not if, right? I'm just painting the picture. I know it is, right? Because I know you're the type of guy, you're very thorough about that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But now this is your business, it's your brand, and you're looking at it from a balance sheet perspective, right? What is your primary income, secondary income, that generates revenue in your business, and like what strategy are you using to market yourself or your music? Like I'm trying to tap into the business mind behind,
I
because
get.
what I understand also about you is that you're a one man operation. You understand? So essentially you manage yourself.
I do.
So everything that you do that is in line with what you like to do is what is your brand, right? And that's on brand. So I'm trying to understand from you, like, what what decisions, what processes have you gone through to become so confident as you are today
Yes.
in handling your music business?
Firstly, great question. I think when we speak about handling music business, there's so many different elements to it.
Yeah, for sure.
The first thing is you got to register your music. Now, people hear Samro, but that's not enough. You got to register at Samro, Risa, and Capasso, all three. The rights are protected. Capasso is mostly for composer rights. Samro's royalties and performance. Risa often also deals with like intellectual copyright, as well as Capasso, in terms of like who wrote what percentage of verses, hooks, etc. So when even discussing collabs, there needs to be honest discussion about what the percentage split will be when before the track is released. That way people are comfortable and don't get misunderstandings. But nonetheless, beyond that, I've also trademarked my stage name, so I own my own name for the next century, give or take. And when no one in the world can use the name Met underscore A underscore Morphosis because I own that trademark with the logo and everything. We also have my own company, Met A Morphosis Art Dimensions, and I'm founder and CEO essentially, and I'm basically signed to myself. So releasing my art projects via the company is a double copyright. So it's like buy a company that's owned by me, but I'm also an artist in the company. So you see how that works. So with that in play, I own majority royalty rights. Then if you're smart about it, my strategy was try build up your brand, have at least 10, 20, 30, 50,000 followers, get a better negotiating position with labels because labels are correct and they kind of hold you to it when they're like, look, you have 200 followers, but I think you're dope. I'm gonna spend a lot of money to making you famous if I'm taking a much bigger cut of the pie. But if I say I got 20,000 followers, I'm building up, at the end of this year I'll probably have 40 to 50K, and they negotiate with me, I can be like, look, I've done most of the level for you already. You're just like plugging me in a few of the right areas that would have publicity, i.e., major brands, etc. If you adverts here or there, and you're in. That's much quicker and more organic rather than you're unknown. I put a million into you and then somebody knows you. So that's where the authenticity of the art comes in. But 50 Cent once said as well, the biggest curse for artists is having their first song become a hit. And the reason he said that was, if you have your first song, you write it, you make it, record it, release it, it's a hit. Labels come to you, it's amazing, million streams, blah, blah, blah. First question, make another one. Now, do you know how to do that? And if you don't, you're in trouble now. And that's why we have so many one-hit wonders. It's people that got lucky, made a dope track, which is amazing, but they can't be consistently create that level of art again. And that's why you get that so often in the industry. It's like, one art track, do it again, dololo. Can't do anything about it. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy to make a catchy, amazing track, but what I'm trying to say is my strategy was also release an album rather than a single. So when you release an album, like, oh, that's one dope track. Oh, there's more? Another, another, another. Now you have more time to create more work. Because when you release one track, it's like, you have one more track, you only have one song out. I'm like, I have 13 tracks out. 10 are full songs, 3 are skits, 1's an intro. So you have a catalog of, you can play with it, different tracks. Because my writing is so abstract, conscious, intense as well. When you unpack the code, you'll always catch different meanings in what I'm saying. But beyond that business point, it's more about understanding composer rights, intellectual property rights. Do you own your own name? Get it trademark, please, and copyright it. When you protect it in that way, maybe open up a company, start up a business account, and run your art world through that. So when you quote for shows, you quote with the business account, not a personal account. You see where I'm going with this? You look more professional. You have a logo, you have a card, business card. You know my business card? Yeah. You see how I'm moving? Like, be professional about your shh.
For sure,
Excuse
for
my
sure,
language.
for sure,
And
for
by that
sure.
I mean be on time, submit your deadlines.
Yeah, yeah,
like, show
yeah.
up the shows.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
on a poster, don't give excuses last minute.
Yeah.
So early if there's problems. You see what I'm going? Take art like a job.
Yeah.
You gotta decide. This is a hobby, this is a career. Those are different things. Hobby is sometimes,
Can I
career
ask
is
you?
to take this
Can
seriously.
I ask you one question?
Go right ahead.
Another one. Sorry. Uh, what influenced your outlook? Because I'm listening to you and I'm like, yo, this motherfucker. Sorry.
Right ahead.
Well,
You're welcome to talk.
to refer to you like that, but we can use that language on the podcast.
Go right ahead. You're more than welcome
Yes.
to. You're free?
This guy is right on the money.
Of course I am. I own my stuff. 100% ownership on royalties.
But where did you get that information from?
Oh, I
Because-
studied. I
Hey?
watched tons of lectures and podcasts, read books, listened to people. If I had a chance to speak to somebody manager, spoke to them.
Hey?
I went on YouTube. But here's the thing. The internet has made information everywhere. People are lazy to look. You want to complain, but you're not even reading a contract. Don't just read the contract. English is not enough. Take it to a damn lawyer. They'll see things you don't see. Not because you're not competent, but because fine clauses and fine print are dangerous. We all know this.
Yeah.
Even the smartest people get killed by fine print.
Yeah.
So get lawyers, maybe multiple lawyers to look over your things. Like maybe create the invoice number and quotation system. Do you know that an invoice, quotation, and tax receipt are not the same thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Quotation is, I'll do this for you if you pay this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Invoice says, I've done it, here's
Yeah,
the bill.
yeah, yeah.
Tax receipt is, you've paid, here's the slip.
Yeah.
But people mix and match. You can't send someone a quotation after you've done the gig. That's
Mm.
wrong. You send the invoice. They're paying for what you've just done.
Yeah.
Invoice.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
sloppy mistakes like that cost artists.
Yeah, yeah.
And people will nick you based on
it
that.
affects your brand.
It does.
Yeah.
So be serious, schedule your things, be on time, work on your craft, practice.
Yeah.
Don't just think because I'm dope, you're done.
And-
nah.
and- and
I'm a master
know-
because
and-
I always
and know your
get there.
value.
Exactly, know your value.
And know your value.
Quote correct.
You mentioned something earlier, right?
Yeah, I have 10
About-
awards by
about
the way.
having-
Haha. Like your fingers. What?
Oh, we'll touch on that. You can
Yeah.
tell us a bit more about them.
Sure.
But what you said that I wanted to touch on specifically was you have a rate card, right?
Of course I have a rate card,
think,
yes.
I think it's important for us to understand what a rate card is,
I'll
one,
unpack that.
and two, how to develop one.
Sure. I'll tell
Because
you.
like I think people struggle with saying, okay, fine, I guess it cost me $200 to come to the gig, so it's gonna cost me 200 rand. Then I invoice you $200.
I'll unpack that for you. All right. Let's go with honesty of things.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is, as a novice, we haven't performed anyway. You can't expect to be charging someone 5,000 when you've never been on stage before. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just be
yeah.
honest about it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't expect to be paid like Messi when you've never been on the pitch before.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a bit
yeah.
of a. Now, competency matters.
Yeah.
Now, here's how to do it the honest way where you can justify the thing to say. I would personally advise the following: spend 6 months to a year learning the space, going to as many open mics as you can, practicing your stuff, but pay attention. How is the crowd reacting? Are they somber? Are they vibed up? Are they chilled? Is no one paying attention? Is my voice monotonous? Am I changing my vocal tones? Am I using gestures? Do I have a beat? Do I know my lyrics? Can I freestyle? Am I impromptu? Can I host? Can I direct and control the crowd? You see, all those things I mentioned are actually competency skills that can be learned. But you have to have the willingness to learn it, an open mindedness to learn it. So what I'm trying to say in terms of rate card is, once you spend enough time seeing enough spaces, you know where you can go to at least maybe once a week attend some type of show. And I have 4 shows a week. And if you attend all 4, maybe 3 months in a row, you're consistent in the space for a bit. Oh, you attended 3 shows in a row. You look a little bit familiar. And once you've then done that, you see, is anybody here know where they host other shows? Now you have another venue. And different people have more than one answer. So when you keep attending those shows, you become more known in the space. When you're more known in the space, you then ask, can I maybe headline for you? Can I lead a gig? Do you have a slot for me? Just ask casually.
So it's a
But
it's a process.
You can't start out and have a rate card. They're gonna laugh at you. And to be honest, they won't take it serious. Just be real about it. But when you build up at least 6 months to a year, people have seen your face in the space. You can't be like, yo, this is Uno. I've never seen music anyway. Then how would it justify you being an artist? Because obviously you have music out. So what I'm trying to say is, you have music out which validates you being an artist. Because now you can point out and say, want to hear my stuff? go on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, etc. Like you can for me and you. So that is competency. So because you can do that, you can be like, look, listen to my stuff, pick some songs, or do a set based on time. So rate card is based on what you're providing, what you expect, what should be there, what is your price, do you have an invoice number,
And
do you have a quotation
and
number,
what you're
have you
bringing.
put the person's name on the bill,
Yeah.
have you put things like I have this clause. A deposit of 50% is required to confirm my booking and arrival at your show. If they don't pay half on the day, I'm like, you gotta drop it by now. If you're not dropping it by now, I'm allowed to
I'm
pull
not.
out that
I'm not.
will,
I'm not
because I said
pitching.
so.
I'm
But no,
teasing.
I do show up though. I do show up though. As long as they're able to honor the payment they owe to me, I'm fine.
Have you
I
ever
will
had
show
a situation where they haven't honored the payment?
I've had situations
And
where
how
people
did you
were late
handle
and
it?
took a while, but they eventually did pay me though.
Okay,
Great,
but
thanks.
it's not like they scammed you. It
Nah,
was
nah,
just
nah,
administrative.
Also, in the age of social media now, you can post statuses about people scamming you, and their business will
affect
feel
their
the effects.
business
It will.
forever. Yeah.
So
yeah,
you,
that's true.
so luckily we're protected in that sense. Where anybody will share your shit, and then it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
this person scammed
You're
me
your
like
own
that.
consumer watchdog.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, let me unpack the rate card a bit deeper because mine's a bit different. I have voiceover rates and performance rates.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Voice over rates.
Yes. When I only give out my voice for
Are
animation
you
and
also a
things like
voice over artist?
that. Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like I didn't know that about you.
Nah, it's a new career I'm getting into.
Okay.
Apparently my vocals are smooth, so I'm grateful. So it's upon request. I did drop a quotation, so I can't say too much about the next project, but know that I'm an incredibly versatile human being. I love the fact that I'm an artist, writer, scientist, and educator, and that's another reason why I can charge as high as I charge. I have 4 careers, but let's get back to the rate card again. Why I have 10 awards as well. I have 4 awards for the stage, 3 awards for my writing, that's 7, 2 awards from VITS, that's 9, and 1 award for the school I teach at, that's 10.
What,
Now, the
what,
point
what,
of
what
all
was
those
the award
things-
at school? Teacher of the year.
Register class of the year.
Really?
Number 1 register
Which is
class.
probably an even better award than being a teacher
Yeah.
of the year.
Teacher of the
crazy.
Year is also dope, but I'm glad I got the award that I got.
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to say is I pursue excellence so much that the space ends up validating me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have 2 continental awards, by the way.
Really?
The first poetry book I was publishing, Secrets of a Humble Heart, won Best Poetry at the 5th Annual African Global Author Awards 2 years ago, 2022. And that award show was huge for me, red carpet, photo shoot, etc. And it was like, I prayed to get published for a long time. And I felt like I was being delayed. But God always, and ancestry always have a deeper purpose. So they made sure that when I finally got published, the first book would win an award, which would validate itself as something I'm meant to do. So it's like, oh, your first book, you got your writing poems in? By the way, I have 17 poems published now. So I have 8 poems in Secrets of Humble Hearts, 7 poems in The Darkest Light, and 2 poems in Spoken Sessions. Our stories untold. So with that, it's proven writing competency. I've also judged nationals twice for public speaking, and I do facilitate workshops as well for writing or other things. And I'm open to hosting events too.
Oh shit! I mean, you.
Those are the
really-
different jobs where you can get a different check. What I do, yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Tutor privately as well,
Okay.
and teach at more than one school too
Yeah.
for different checks too.
That's crazy. You know why I was asking you earlier about
Yes, go right ahead.
how you feel about being in this country, operating in this country.
Yeah.
I'm asking
Definitely
also.
will move globally. Yes.
I'm also
Moving,
asking
yeah.
about like your view on the politics and the impact of the politics on, because like politics has got direct effects on some of the fields that you're operating in, right? Which is academia and
Art, writing,
and the
science.
art space, right? And science, right? So like now the broader question is like, what is now your political outlook? I mean, it's May now, and this is like a social consciousness duty, I guess, that
Yeah, you're right.
we feel at the culture, because we're not just about artists. Yes, we're about artists, but we are about empowering each other, right? So we got to read the times and look at what's happening and talk about it, right? So essays going to the polls, I'm not asking who you want to vote for unless you want to talk about it, but what is your outlook in general?
I think for one,
And maybe what message would you have to,
okay, I would say the
would-be
following.
voters?
I'll say the following. Before we get into voting and the constructs around that, we have to first shed a moment of silence for all those who shed their lives so we have the opportunity to vote and put their lives on the line to end an oppressive system and the voices cannot be forgotten. Because for a long time, black people and people of color were not allowed to vote at all, including women as well. There's a double oppression. Now, according to Steve Biko, to be black is to be of those who are oppressed, which included people that are mixed race, Indian, black people, and women of all races as well, because all those people are oppressed. So, if those people can sacrifice their lives, march, put their lives on the line, we can vote now, and we choose not to when they died so we could. I think that's a bit of blasphemy, and it's ignorance of their lives. So I think it's everybody's duty to go out there and vote. Now, who people vote for, of course, is their own choice. And I'm not going to really get into any of that stuff. But what I will say is we need a deeper level of consciousness in society as a whole, so that all of society knows why they are voting, who they are voting for, what is expected of them, and what measures of accountabilities exist to make sure things get done. But the most important thing, because if we're all honest about it, the whole world is actually just flat out corrupt. But you have functional corruption and dysfunctional corruption. Functional corruption, things get done, but some money is eaten. It happens all over the world. Dysfunctional corruption, we eat money first, then things aren't done, which is a problem because it affects things later on. So I think let's honor ourselves, always pick competency, excellence as the mark. Another problem, I think society wants competency instead of excellence. It's, can you do the bare minimum? It should be, can you do this really well or great?
Yeah.
And if your standards are so low, you
Yeah.
become complacent. You know?
Even individuals, bro. Like in general, I hate to sound like I'm criticizing, but I don't think people demand the most of themselves.
They
You know,
don't.
like if I have to
They
talk
really
about
don't.
myself for a little bit, bro, I know I'm aware of what I've done, right? And I always feel like, man, I could have done better, or I can do better. You understand? And that's actually what keeps me going, right? That, man, okay, I didn't crash it that time. I can crash it next time, and then next time I do it better. And I realize that, man, it's not everybody who's like motivated like that. You know what I'm saying? To have a standard, but to always increase the standard every
course, you
time.
have
And like it's a very underrated uh outlook because first of all, keeps you driven.
It does.
It keeps you motivated, active. So yeah, I respect that a lot. When I meet somebody who's got that thing of like,
Can't do it for the sake of doing it. Do it well.
yeah, like, and self-improvement is a perpetual journey. You can't
It
say,
is.
now I've self-improved.
Exactly.
I've improved to the max.
Because that's the thing. In order to knock another level. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to say I'm bad with names.
Yeah.
Now I have 180 students, give or take, that I teach
Yeah.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
There's still the 37 register class. That's 217 names. Plus 50 plus staff members. That's 265 names that are always in my head at all times at work.
That's crazy.
Now, someone else would be afraid to remember all those names.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
no. If you don't challenge your mind, it will never do it. But
That's
I challenged my
true.
mind. And
That's
guess what? It didn't make my memory worse. It made it even better. Because it's like, I got to be sharp. Like, as they leave, sanitize, say their names. You get what I'm saying? So, by the way, I do still sanitize. I know COVID's apparently over. But for the sake of just bacteria and the general what, I think it's a healthy habit. But yeah.
Yeah. Metamorphosis, as usual,
Yes.
bro. It's
Yes.
been great to have you, man.
Most deaf, the drip's always on. How many times have you seen someone rock a hoodie with a suit? And some
yeah.
J's?
Yeah, come on.
Different type of homie,
Come
yes.
on. Yeah.
Yes. Shout out, thank you to the culture. Thank you so much for having me. We give thanks for greatness, divinity, ancestry, the light that exists within us, our shadows being understood, our
Before-
dreams being fulfilled, and purpose and manifestation existing as the blessings of breath.
Okay. Before you cut and we end the podcast, I want to ask if these chains have like meaning.
They do.
And maybe if you can just tell us what the meanings are, because I'm seeing symbols and stones. Are you a chakra dude? Chakra guy?
Certainly a way that I put it, but I'll explain. I guess the case of like me. So my case is a bit different in the sense that, firstly, I believe everyone should be free to believe whichever religion they
Sure,
feel
sure.
safe with, and allow that to be respected. So I'll never ever bash any religion. But in essence, I was raised Christian. I do respect God, and I do believe in God, by the way. Yes. But at the same time, I felt like there were some things that were being dismissed or wouldn't be answered when I'd ask elders or priests. So I kind of went on my own journey, and the journey wasn't to pursue something else. It was a pursuit of wisdom. And I looked in different places, saw Eastern traditions, African traditions, Western traditions, old philosophies, and I learned mostly from Stoicism, Buddhism, and Taoism. I think those three, the principles in there, taught me the most. So it's not about claiming all three. It's about I just take those life lessons that help guide my life. It's easier. Now, going back to the chains. All of these have different meaning and for different things. They've all been prayed for and prayed over by me and somebody else. They're all gifts at certain points in my life. There was a stage where I had many, but I only wore one, and the reason was I would only wear these chains if I personally feel like I've learned the lesson behind them. So it's a question of giving my inner self the reason of are you worthy of wearing a chain like you know what I mean. So I'll start here. This one is the quartz crystal. Now the quartz crystals for healing and protection. Protection, of course, against the haters, but healing because we need
Against
to
the
always
haters.
grow. No, not specifically against that. That was a joke. Not specifically, but just protection in general against darker entities, etc. And healing as well spreads growth. Yeah. Um, this one here is the throat chakra. Now the throat chakra, I'm not sure how much people know about chakra systems. Well, the throat chakra is the energy over here by the throat, right? Now, there's seven chakras. You have the Kundalini, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, crown chakra, third eye. Yeah, so those are some of the chakras. So the throat chakra, the energy from here, for me, this is a reminder of the balance between speaking and listening. You need to know when to do which at the right time to the right degree. Often they'd say, be humble, which is correct. But I think there's moments when our light needs to be shared to inspire others to brighten theirs if the room is dimly lit. So for example, you can think of yourself as a candle. And the room is dimly lit. And you come in and other candles are almost off and you just add a little bit of light, they brighten up again. It helps. But there's other times when the room is already well lit, there's chandeliers and everything, and you can't be like, I've done, and the person responds, yeah, I've got a Grammy and an Oscar. And then you're like, oh. So it shouldn't be about flossing or trying to throw whatever on people. And I think maybe that's what people maybe misinterpret me. So my story is not about saying I've achieved so many things, which I have. It's more about I'm telling you there's principles of how I got here and hope you learn from those. I'm trying to give you the keys of how I got there. Literally, major key alert all the time. I'm trying to always drop gems because why should I watch someone take a long drive, fall in the ditch, when I can be like, yo, do not go left, go right, it's quicker and safer. But now, not enough people are giving people that information. They keep them quiet. Then afterwards, they're like, I saw you fell. By the way, if you went right, you could have avoided that.
Yeah.
Now, they want to gloat and enjoy the ego when you could have helped someone avoid a mistake that you've already seen.
Yeah.
So it leads to my next point of what's the purpose of having a mentor or a master to learn from? It's not about they're dope, they'll make me dope. No. It's actually the following. They've traveled the road that you're on and seen it further because they have the career you already want to have one day. So they know where the ditches are. So the key purpose of a mentor and master is to tell you the ditches are here. Don't go there. Go here. Because the fact that you're one of their disciples or followers means you already have the potential to become one too. So if people looked at it that way of, can you teach me what to avoid? What mistakes am I making? The journey will always make you become dope in your own way, in your own right, but it won't be in your time, but according to divine and ancestral time. So that's the throat chakra. Then getting into this one, this is the root chakra. The root chakra by the base of the spine. It's mostly like roots, history. So it's like remember, acknowledge, and accept your history. Your greatness through lineage. If you go back 500-600 years, 4,096 people had to survive. If you think of yourself and your parents, that's three. Grandparents, that's seven. And you see where this is going, exponential growth. And you shorten lifespan, less medical attention, etc. So all those people that challenges, obstacles, but they also had gifts and character traits. And they've all been inherited epigenetically into you. Now, you have a lot of that that's switched off. We call that junk DNA. But there are ways to unlock such DNA. For example, experiencing novelty or being in environments that are high pressure, high stress. Because it's like do or die, it unlocks something in you. And you can actually harness, practice, and perfect that skill and become good at something, for example. So, yeah, that's the learning behind that one. Remember your history, accept it. Because when you understand your history, you'll know your future a little bit better. You'll be more informed about how to make decisions. Um, this is the Aum sign. The Aum sign stands for universal consciousness. For me, it's also about keep learning, basically. So learn every day is a golden rule, which I've maintained for roughly 4 years. So if 1 year is 365, two is then 730. So I've learned 1,460 things in 4 years. For learning one thing minimum every day, as I have. And you see the power of when you keep that consistently. Like, it really builds you. Yeah. It's another hack for success. Major key alert.
Is that all of them?
No. This is the Buddha because I follow some tenets of Buddhism. It's helped me in terms of like meditation, calmness, learning mindfulness to control my own mind, control thoughts, manage my vibration a bit better, bounce back quicker, be less negative, and look at diet more holistically. Because people look at diet as food, but it's deeper than that. It's what you choose to consume, what you read, don't read, the people you see, the music you consume, the art you feel, etc. So if you filter out the nonsense from that and only keep the good stuff, then the average shall dictate you'll become a better version of self. So my students once asked, how did I become so successful? I told them, there are 4 pillars of success. They're the following. There is consistency, number 1, discipline, number 2, purpose, number 3, ambition, number 4. In that order. Now let me tell you why. Consistency means a repetitive form or pattern of behavior that's done over time. But consistency is not the same as discipline. Because discipline means executing at the same level regardless of how you feel. That's discipline, right? When you have consistency and you're disciplined about it and you're disciplined in character, what it does is the following. When your character is disciplined, you begin to get visions of the future. And visions of the future lead to pillar 3, a potential purpose. But that purpose means nothing without pillar 4, which is the ambition to do something about it. Therefore, by correlation, anybody can answer what they're consistent about, what they're disciplined in, what their purpose is, and what their ambitions are, will by definition, to work on it over time, become successful. Another key.
Yeah. That's the formula.
That's the formula.
That's the recipe.
1 to 4. Then, this one is the almost done, second last one. This is the third eye chakra by the pineal gland, which is near the pituitary gland of the brain. And essentially what that's about is pituitary gland is a growth hormone. Pineal gland is a seat of consciousness in the brain, sense of our imagination. That's the pineal gland. Now, through certain meditative practices, you put pressure on that point, and it will form rhombohedron crystals based on chemicals
get
that are
the reading to the body?
Those crystals lead to a waking state of consciousness, a deeper meditative state. So yeah, there's a much deeper thing to this. When I started trying to research more about it,
What do you think is
the
better?
neuroscience matches
Exactly, like the oil or like this?
correlates. Yeah, it is. So essentially, live your best life, find yourself, understand yourself, protect and guide yourself. But seek wisdom and discernment through divinity and ancestry to lead your path. Give it that. Last one.
I've never done like
Lapis Lazuli, blue stone.
done with just like
Also for the throat chakra to help calm and protect that. And then those are the gems that hang on my neck. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much for breaking it down. Thank you so much for pulling up.
What's that?
Yeah, and guess part 3 is coming soon.
Yes, part 3 coming soon. Shout out
Conversation.
Met A Morphosis. Shout out Uno. Shout out the culture. Shout out Stan. Let's keep the movement flying and let's keep the culture living.
Please drop your handles.
Yes, and my handle is all at Met, that's MET _A _morphosis.
my only thing.
MORPHOSIS. You can find
Only
me
thing with
anywhere,
putting it in
everywhere
is
with
like
me
getting
at
the-
Met _A_morphosis. Check me on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube Music, and even Shazamable as well. Instagram, Facebook, same handles. And check you soon. Shout out. Peace to you.
It's the culture.
Steph.